so I guess we're in Regina, and they go, it's Regina. I go, okay. One of the flight attendants goes, have you heard what the mayor did? He's in a lot of hot water because he just came up with a new motto for the town, Regina, the city that rhymes with fun.
With my little resume that was all lies. I just made up other theaters because there was like, all I did in Omaha were like these dinner theaters. And I was like, I can't keep putting the same theater. So I just like made up some other theaters. And I was like, no one's gonna find out.
There's no internet.
What are they gonna call?
And your third book, which
now
I wanted
what
to show
is this?
You. Now, they spelled your name so wrong. This
Just
is your biography.
one letter wrong.
So can you show that?
Just one. It says, who is Andrew Rannells? A complete biography of the American actor, his early life, career, and the inside story of his confessions of being gay with a capital G.
Andrew Rannells.
Hello.
Every time. Hi, man. Thank you for being here. And
Thank you for having me.
Every time I put your name into anything on the internet or the thing, because I have to voice to type, it wants to say Reynolds.
Reynolds.
And it pisses me off.
And who is Andrew Rannells?
Who is Andrew Rannells?
What do you get when you look up Andrew Rannells? Anything interesting?
I get so angry I haven't even actually looked. Although on that front, and I wasn't going to go to this until later.
Let's hear it.
There is something here that I want to show you. So you're an author. We're going to get to that later. You've written a couple books.
Yes.
Which is absolutely amazing because I literally don't even know you that well, but I am literally like your biggest fan. So I'm so excited that we get to hang. So you've written these books, which we'll talk about. I'd like you to notice this one, right? You can hold it up, right? And that's your second book.
This is my second book.
That came out in 2023.
That's correct.
And you are an uncle and / dad, stepdad.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get into some parenting stuff. Husbandy, boyfriendy stuff.
All those things.
Your first book.
My first book.
Too much.
Too much is not enough.
Is not enough.
Which is a line from the song Fame.
Oh.
Yes.
I thought Fame was just Fame. I wanna.
She sings it later.
How's it go?
Irene Cara. Don't put me on the spot.
Okay.
Too much is... I don't know. But look, they did a nice little nod to Hairspray as well.
That was your big break.
That was my that was my first Broadway show, yeah.
If that was my book and they gave a nod to the light in the piazza, they'd have to have a horse kicking a girl in the
That's
head.
what I was going to say. Maybe a pony.
And your third book, which
now,
I wanted
what
to show
is this?
You.
This is hilarious.
Now, they spelled your name so wrong. Now, this is your
Incorrectly.
biography. This
Just
is your biography.
one letter wrong.
So can you show that?
Just one.
Does it say who is Andrew Rannells?
It says, who is Andrew Rannells? A complete biography of the American actor, his early life, career, and the inside story of his confessions of being gay with a capital G.
Yeah. Now, the good news for you is even though you spelled your own last
Gay.
name on your biography, which is very thin, by the way. It's
Who
a
wrote
pretty
this?
Pretty short life story you've got there.
Alice.
Alice spells your name correctly throughout the rest of the book.
Oh, that's good.
So,
well, if you're going to make one mistake, do it on the cover.
Do it on the cover.
I mean, I do have just a quick note about Alice's font choice and margins.
Sure. Let's get into it. Please.
Babe, not since high school have I seen margins this.
It's almost quadruple spaced, isn't it? It's
wow.
Yeah. It's a special book. I recommend it. It might be the best $11.99 you can spend on Amazon.
Oh,
you getting a cut?
I already saw something wrong.
Please, let's read it.
Really?
Yeah.
Andrew took it on a new challenge in his career by stepping behind the camera for his directorial debut. That is true. In 2022, he directed an episode of Modern Love entitled How Do You Remember Me? That is true. On Amazon Prime. Also true. Based on a personal essay by Michael Ausiello. No, I wrote that essay. That's why they asked me to... Alice!
Interesting, Alice.
That's
Where's
why,
she
that's
getting
why
her info?
I wrote... Okay, this is a good segue into the book talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wrote an essay for Modern Love for the New York Times. And it's a essay in this book, Too Much Is Not Enough. And it was published in the New York Times, which I was so floored by. And then I got some questions about, like, have you written anything else? This was in 2017.
And the Times, you were swinging pretty big. They were like, we love this guy. Would you write something for us?
I'll go back a little bit. I have a friend named Bill Clegg, who's a great writer. And he wrote two really beautiful memoirs. The first one is called Portrait of an Addict as a Young Man. And I became friends with him, and he's also a literary agent. And they were going to make one of that first book into a film. So I met Bill as they were casting that. It did not end up happening, but I did become friends with Bill Clegg. So that was fun. Cool. And he said, "Hey, do you write? It seems like you're probably a guy who writes stuff." And I was like, "Well, I do. I I've always kept a journal, and then I would write these essays sort of just for myself, but never with the idea that I would actually share them with anyone." But I said, "I'll send you something that I wrote." And so I sent him an essay, and he said, "Can I send this to this man, Dan Jones, at the New York Times, who is the editor of Modern Love?" And I said, "Sure." And then they called back, and they said, "We want to publish it."
Amazing.
Which was crazy. And so that started this first book, is that then I had all these other essays, and Bill worked with me to, sort of go through the essays and what was sort of missing and what was the shape of the book going to be and what kind of story was I going to tell and what should I focus on. And then a couple years later, John Carney, who made Begin Again and Once, the movie Once. He was the producer of the Modern Love TV series. And he said, "Do you want to adapt that essay for the TV show?" And I said, "Sure." And then it was during the pandemic, and they said, "Hey, do you want to direct it?"
Right, so hold on. I gotta pause.
I mean, I would like to think that they were just like, he should direct, but I wonder if it had something to do with COVID. But maybe not. Maybe not. But it was really fun. It was a really fun experience. But it was my first job, during COVID times, which was wild.
I just got to keep track.
Yeah.
Okay, because
I know that was a long story.
No. It's another story. It was perfect length of the story. I'm just trying to keep track of your. This is Impossible Dreams, the podcast. You're living.
It was
a lot of them.
Well, it was sort of an impossible dream. I never thought I would write a book, let alone 2 books.
Let alone have something that you've written for the Times be adapted for television. Did you write that also?
Yeah.
And you directed it?
And I directed it.
I mean, what haven't you done?
Well.
Porn?
Yes. You know what? Is that the next impossible dream?
Is it? I'm sure our audiences want to know.
Wait a second.
I took it too low. I went
No.
too low. But seriously, no, you've done because I know you from just being a huge fan because there are.
Well, we know each other from Ninth Avenue.
From Ninth Avenue,
basically,
where we used to live.
We used to live. We started around the same time, our careers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was just talking to a friend about how the community of Broadway, that even though some of these shows don't run very long, but it's different than the community I find of television and stuff. Yeah. You end up, you just kind of feel like you're in a family. Yeah. And people just came out to record this song with me last year, I called you up, we ran into each other at the Tonys.
We reconnected at the Tony Awards
and
last
then
year,
I was like, I'm doing a benefit for Project ALS. Mm-hmm. We need somebody who can be the most charming, hilarious, funny person over a totally super awful disease.
And Jonathan Groff wasn't available.
No, that is not true.
You said...
Groff.
No,
I have kissed Groff, and he doesn't really text me back, which is kind of.
We'll get to that later.
I feel, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
We kind of made it out, man.
But I definitely know what you mean about the community aspect, because when I first started, my first Broadway show was Hairspray, and it was everything that I imagined Broadway to be, in that there were all of these events and the softball and the Easter bonnet and the things and the even just going to some random bar and Hell's Kitchen, and then all of a sudden a bunch of other casts are there. Yep. And it really did feel, I was like, oh, I'm in the middle of it. And I think when I got out to LA many years later, I thought, how on TV shows or in movies when they show a lot in Hollywood, and it's everyone's eating lunch and there's a showgirl and a gladiator and they're all just sitting down smoking and eating a sandwich. I thought that's what the Paramount lot was going to be, right. That all of the shows would hang out together. Yeah. And then I was working on the Paramount lot, and that's not how it was.
No.
Everyone just runs. As soon as they say, we're wrapped for the day. Everyone runs to their cars.
It's you and you.
And that's it.
In your trailer.
And no one wants to like hang out
Yeah.
and go to the Brown Derby.
Yeah.
Turns out that's closed.
Is it?
Yeah, it closed in the 50s, I think. But I thought...
I'm just not going to lie. I was pretending that I knew. I was pretending.
I just thought Hollywood was going to be like, it's going to be like, old
Hanging.
Hollywood.
Yeah, it's weird that it's not a little bit because it is though. I don't know if you've had this experience. I've had the experience of most movies and television don't rehearse a whole heck of a lot.
No.
And so you're not even really getting to know the people that you're doing the thing with.
No.
But there's like a movie star club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're in the club, and I've always kind of just been on the fringe of the edge or as the supporting guy who's the thing. And then I never really know where I'm, and then you try and just, be normal and cool. But some of them are so weird. And because you've had no time, like on Broadway, you're in a room all day, every day, and you're working on a thing, and no one's making any money, and it's the whole thing. And then you go to these movies, and it's like people are coming in from all over the world, and some people are making $1 million a day, and they're like, "Who are you? It doesn't matter. Let me just hit my marks and do my thing."
Get out of here.
Yeah. It's a different thing.
No, everybody wants to go home, which I understand. But I feel, was such the opposite of the Broadway experience. Is that like you go back and everybody, even the, going to the Tonys, it's like you run into people that you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you since whatever, or people that you worked with, people that you haven't worked with, but you just respect, and everybody's in the same room.
That's me and you.
That's me and you.
I mean, I respect you. I don't know if you respect me, but
I respect you.
Okay.
I respect you.
I'll give it time. Like we got 45 minutes left here, and then
I definitely.
I'll let you change your mind.
Already tried to introduce me to a career in porn, so that was within the first 5 minutes. So I don't know what's going to happen.
What's coming next? No one knows on Impossible Dreams. It's the goofiest podcast ever.
Right? So you don't know what we're doing.
No, and we're just getting started here. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so hold on. So Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha. Right.
Which, by the way, Sarah, Omaha, Nebraska. Did you
You're
guys know
from
each
Omaha,
other?
Nebraska?
Were you guys friends?
Where'd you go to high school
together?
Plattsmouth.
All right. I went to Creighton Prep. Plattsmouth. Different, but Omaha. Not a lot of us. I mean, there are a lot of us, but not a lot of us perhaps in Los Angeles. Yeah. So it's always exciting to be like, do you like Runza? You guys don't know what that is.
I don't.
But it's
in
delicious.
Omaha once. That's it.
It's delicious.
You have your own food in Omaha?
We do. We have our own food. The most famous fast food in
good,
Omaha is
by the way.
called
Runza?
Runza.
It doesn't sound like you want to have the Runzas on the...
No, Runza, it's delicious. It's like ground beef, and I always get cheese in it, and it's like packed into like a bun, like a hoagie roll, but it's like light and flaky.
All right, so hold on. So you took a Philly cheesesteak and you just trashed it.
No, but it's ground beef. It's not a cheesesteak.
Right, but you just took
a sloppy Joe.
A sloppy Joe.
Similar, but without
Sloppy Jeff.
We're not. I'm not doing this properly.
I think you did a fantastic job, and I ruined it.
They're
but
delicious.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Trust
I'm
us.
never going to eat one of those.
When you go next time you're in Omaha, Runza.
I would get the Runzas. I don't eat cheese very much. I'm one of those lactose.
You can get it without cheese.
Good. Do you know what they say in Philly if you want cheese with your cheesesteak?
Is it something about whiz?
Yeah, with or without whiz.
Whiz.
Yeah.
I just went to Philly for the first time.
First time?
First time.
That's my hometown.
Yes.
Sort
I
of.
recall.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. All right. It was my first time. And we, Tuck and I, my boyfriend Tuck was doing a movie in Delaware, and we went into Philly for the day. And now I can't think. We went to 3 different cheesesteak places.
Yeah, you got Geno's, Pat's.
We went to.
And I don't remember Michael's. It's definitely not Michael's.
Peter. No.
Geno's, Pat's, and Jim's.
Pat's we did. Jim's.
Jim's
We definitely did. Pat's we did. There was another one, and it was a real treat.
Yeah.
It was a real treat.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had one of those
So
in a
it's
long
not.
time.
It's like it's not that. The Runza.
Okay.
But
Omaha.
The name.
Got to change the name. It reminds me of I did a stint for 3 weeks last summer in Moose Jaw, Canada.
Yee.
And to get there, it was a medical thing. There is a doctor up there, a biochemist who has a thing, and I had heard people were having results with neurodegenerative, and I had to see it for myself. So I went up there with my dad, and to get to Moose Jaw, you have to fly through Regina.
Sure.
Canada.
Sure.
And I didn't know whether to call it Regina or Regina. I had no idea. And
No,
I was hoping it was Regina.
No, they say Regina.
So I land on the plane. I know.
Now you know.
I know. Like I learned so quick because I was like, I guess we're getting off, and I'm in the Hannibal Lecter chair, so they can wheel me off the plane, strapped into the damn thing. It's a whole. When you're disabled, you suffer many indignities. Depending on the airline, which by the way, Spirit Airlines, the nicest with the Hannibal Lecter chair.
Well,
the
wonderful.
seats themselves, once you get on the plane, are as fucking hard as this.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. There's no cushion.
There's nothing.
But the Hannibal Lecter chair is actually comfortable.
Well, thank you, Spirit.
Like I could have stayed in that thing.
Spirit directly to Regina.
Right. So we land, and I say to the flight attendants, I'm like, so I guess we're in Regina, and they go, it's Regina. I go, okay. And then one of the flight attendants goes, have you heard what the mayor did?
Oh,
and I go, no. He goes, he's in a lot of hot water with his Canadian accent. You're not Canadian. You're from Omaha.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of hot water because he just came up with a new motto for the town, Regina, the city that rhymes with fun.
Did they use it?
They used it and they ran it.
I think that's great.
It's great. I thought it was great. I thank you.
What's wrong with that?
I think it's great.
Regina, the city that rhymes with fun. That's
Regina.
Sorry, Regina, the city that rhymes with fun. That's great. Yeah. Omaha has a slogan now that's Omaha, it's not for everyone, which I think is also great. Let's be honest.
Let's
just be honest.
It's so good.
Omaha's not for everyone, and Regina rhymes with fun. For some people. Not this guy. Not this guy.
So ALS affects you the way you laugh. So if I'm silent laughing over here, it would be so loud. But it's the same. I'm laughing with the same gusto.
Thank you. You're not just being polite.
It's just quieter.
You're not just being like this.
This
guy.
I am crying over
it. Oh, boy.
Okay,
this guy, afraid of Reginas. I'm not afraid of them. It's not for me. We've strayed from the impossible dream. We have.
Unless one of your original impossible dreams involved Regina. And I don't think it did.
I am, the technical term is gold star gay.
Oh, I just learned something.
Never had sex with a woman.
Okay. I knew I was so excited to talk to you, man, because we talk about some heavy stuff on the show.
Sure. Well, I can do that.
No, you can't. Mark Cuban was on the show, and
I
didn't realize. So at the end of the conversation, Mark goes, I go, thank you so much, Mark. He goes, no, man, that was fun. It was a little intense, but it was fun. And
Mark.
And I went, I guess that was a little intense. I don't know.
Well, he seems fun.
Oh, he's great. And
he rhymes with Regina.
What does?
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban rhymes with Regina. The city that rhymes with Mark Cuban. This episode of Impossible Dreams is brought to you by our charity champion, the ALS Network. The ALS Network is incredible. For families and patients who are living with this terrible disease, every day brings a new challenge. Trust me, I know. The ALS Network is there every step of the way with compassion, advocacy, and hope. They are helping patients and their loved ones all across the country, from funding groundbreaking research to hands-on support. I know firsthand how vital their work is and how much their support matters. I know that together we will accelerate progress towards better treatments and one day finding a cure. How can you help? Please visit thealsnetwork.org, make a donation, get involved. Your support really does matter. It brings us all one step closer to ending ALS. Thank you so much.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah,
you're getting a wide array of guests.
So here's what since we're early on and we're like a TV show that finds itself, right? What it is. Often the first couple episodes you don't know what the show is,
sure.
But this is conversations like this, probably not ours, so it might end up in the trash. But conversations that are real, but not real long, where we get real, right? And we sort of, for me, they help me heal. And I think then they're helping other people. We're helping each other. We're helping other people, and that's it. So it doesn't matter whether it's you or I'm talking to a doctor or we're talking to Mark or whatever it is. getting real about some stuff,
Okay.
which you start to get into in your books, and
I just
and we can. I know that's despite how
we're going.
handsome and charming you are, we can go there.
Oh,
And
we can go there. I mean, I already feel like I just got real with my
you did, yeah,
with my gold star
your
status.
gold star status. Did she put that in the book, Alice?
No,
Gold star
Alice.
gay?
Alice, I've really lost faith in Alice after that real big mistake.
All right, so
Well, she got the Jersey Boys facts right. That's good at least.
let's just start with musicals real quick.
Musicals.
You do not read music. Is that
Oof,
true?
That is totally true.
How the hell
That's
do
totally
you do
true.
what you do in musicals?
Don't you find? Do you do read music because you're
I
like
do,
a real
yeah.
musician? I think it's partly why I sort of developed more of like a higher tenor voice is because that's usually the melody
Oh,
is like tenor one.
I think that's
is usually the melody.
not
So-
true.
You don't think? When
It-
I first started doing musicals and they were like, okay, let's break up into parts, I was like, what sounds like the recording?
Oh, find the melody.
Yeah, find the melody. So I was
I
like,
see.
I'll do that part.
It's usually T2.
T2 is the you think?
T2,
That's
yeah.
tenor 2 for you folks.
For the
non-musical
unchoral
folks.
experience.
But I from a very early age I decided that that's what I wanted to do was
Were you singing
musicals.
as a kid? You were singing as a kid?
Singing as a kid, yeah, and high school and a little bit of like junior high school started that, and then
Voice teacher?
voice teacher Peggy.
Who was just like, yeah, you don't need to learn how to read music. It's good.
Well,
It's
you know,
Omaha.
they all tried. Peggy Horrocks was her name. She was a
Okay.
great voice teacher, and she tried. And I can follow, like, obviously I know if it's getting higher or getting lower, but I can't point to something and be like, that's a B.
Uh-huh.
I can't do that.
If it makes you feel any better,
Yeah,
I went to Duke University on a music scholarship because I could sing and they wanted to give me some money.
sure.
Wasn't the whole boat, but they gave me a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And I was majoring in pre-med, really, but I had to take these music courses to get the scholarship.
Okay.
Amazing. Had my first voice teacher there. And I had to take 2 years of theory,
Oh,
a year
wow.
of history. I was writing mazurkas and all this stuff. I almost can't look at the thing and tell you what's a B. It went right in
Wow.
and right out because it just wasn't what I want. I wanted to just
You just want to sing.
sing T2.
Yeah, but if you were singing, you could sort of be like, okay, I guess I can kind
Yeah,
of
so
follow
now if I
along.
get a score, which
Yeah.
which though, it's one thing if you're doing, I don't know. I mean, you do sing high and
I used
with
to.
such amazing pitch. Well,
Well, yeah,
still,
a little bit.
but
It's, well, yeah.
but when you did falsettos or
Uh-huh.
when you do scores written by some composers where there's some tricky stuff in
Yeah.
there, and you kind of have like Sondheim. Forget it if you can't.
No, it's hard.
It's hard.
You just gotta. I just have to like drill it and drill it
Drill
and
it
drill it
and
and drill it. The best sort of education I got in that sort of a little bit late was when I did Jersey Boys because that harmony was so tight.
You, Frankie?
No, I was Bob Gaudio.
Oh, okay,
Too
yeah.
tall for Frankie.
Yeah.
Just too
I was
tall.
going to say also, no, you don't want
Too
to do
tall.
that.
No, no one wants to do that. No, I was a Bob Gaudio, but learning that 4-part harmony, I was like,
yeah.
yeesh, this is tough.
Yeah.
So I was always at home with listening to those recordings, trying to find that stuff. And that actually, I think, made me a better singer and I was able to learn things easier after
Sure.
doing that show. Yeah.
You talk about in your first book some of your journey, in the city,
Yeah.
young actor, figuring out life, some of the grind. What, there are people ask me all the time, like, what do you say to a young person now who wants to be an actor? And it's like, whoa.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very different game when we got into it, right? Like, there was not, there was no sort of like direct access like people have with like Instagram or TikTok or, people.
No social media.
People get called in for auditions.
Headshots
based
and
on-
resumes.
Yeah, headshots and resumes. So I, very early on, there's Backstage, obviously. I don't know if you ever utilized that.
All of the,
That you physically got that newspaper on Thursdays and you would go through and like highlight for the week and be like, okay, what's auditioning this coming week and what can I get into? And but I got some advice from this woman, and I wish I could remember her name, that she told me, you know what you should do? take your headshot and your resume and drop it off at the stage door of a Broadway theater with a note for the stage manager and say that you want to audition. And I was like, okay. I was just like, great. If that's how you do it. So one day, I was a freshman in college, and I got out a bunch of envelopes and all my headshots and all my resumes and like stapled them together, and I had a stack of them, and I walked through Times Square and just like knocking on stage doors and being like, this is for the stage manager. This is for the stage manager. And Rent called me, which was cast by Bernie Telsey.
And when they called you, they're calling the home phone with the
They were calling,
machine.
This was bad. I left my Omaha phone number on my resume.
Yep.
And this was in 1997, so I had a service.
Sure.
There were no cell phones,
No,
so I had a service.
Yeah.
And so I didn't put the service number on my resume. So my mom called me, and she said, Andy, a woman called from an office in New York, and they want you to audition for an angel in Rent. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's not an angel. It's
Mom.
Angel, Mom.
Right.
It's Angel. So I was so excited they actually called.
Yeah.
I had an audition.
Yeah.
So I went in, and it was like it was Bernie Telsey's office when they were on like 27th Street, I think, or
With
something
the
like
cats.
that. With the cats, which was a terrible idea.
Terrible.
And I went and auditioned for Rent, and I did not get it. But it did start a relationship with Bernie Telsey's office.
Uh-huh.
And after that audition, they kept calling me in for things. And, many years later, in 2004, so 7 years later, I got cast in Hairspray that they cast.
So
But that was the beginning of that relationship with Bernie Telsey.
Amazing.
So my little stage door trip with my little resume that was all lies, by the way, because I was 18.
good for you.
And I just changed the name of theaters.
To Broadway theaters.
Well, no, I just made up other theaters because there was like all I did in Omaha were like these dinner theaters, and I was like, I can't keep putting the same theater. So I just like made up some other theaters, and I was like, no one's gonna find out.
There's no internet.
There's no internet.
Nobody can check
No,
this.
what are they gonna call?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I changed my resume a little bit,
Good
but
for you.
nobody looks at that.
My first of all, for my sister Dana out there, I'm borrowing from Sean Hayes' sister Tracy on SmartList. Now I lost what the whole Bernie Telsey.
Bernie Telsey.
For my sister Dana out there, Bernie Telsey, one of the top casting directors. Now for 30, 40 years maybe going. So just one of those offices that if you get in. If there's 42 Broadway theaters or whatever it is, Bernie Telsey's casting at least a quarter of those shows, plus whatever's on the road, plus. So that's cool. Yeah, I remember a very sad day for me was when I walked by Telsey's. They had just moved into their new office on 43rd or 45th or something, and there was a giant dumpster out front on the street.
No.
And I had just done. So this is around 2007-ish. I had just done the Les Mis revival.
Sure.
And there was a kid who wanted to be in that show, who I was kind of mentoring a little bit.
Okay.
He was coming out of school, and he's like, how do you get into? And I'm like, you get your headshot and resume over to the casting offices, and because you went to the stage manager, which is a brilliant idea. I never thought of that. I was just going to casting offices, trying to be charming and drop shit off and be like, I'm a new Brian Stokes Mitchell. You don't know it yet, but I am. And they're like, why are you talking like that? You're 24. And I'm like, I know. I'm Mark Rudish.
Hey.
Yeah. So I would, whatever you could do. And so I just told the kid to do that. And then literally like a day later, I'm walking by and there's a dumpster full of everyone's headshot and resume because they had transitioned away from the paper stuff to all digital or it was all online with whatever those And so everyone's headshot and resume, and they were stacked, overflowing, falling out of the top, which you don't want to do in Times Square
because somebody's going to walk by it.
Thousands of headshots and resumes, and I was like, oh, I know that guy. There's
That's
that
so
friend
depressing.
of mine. It was sad, yeah.
That's like along those lines when you are an understudy and you go on and you're so excited, and then you walk out of the theater and your name is on those little inserts,
little white pieces.
littering the sidewalk. Just all
because
like,
they
people
fall
are just
out.
Like, ugh.
Yeah,
or they just
or they
like toss
chuck
them out
it.
like, what's this? But yeah, your name is just all over the sidewalk.
Well, so you understudied.
I did.
I
So
did too. Yeah.
When I got to hair,
tell my sister Dana at home what that even means.
Dana, when I was in Hairspray, so I played Fender, one of the nicest kids in town. I was a replacement. I replaced a man named John Hill, and I replaced him. But then I also understudied, in case anyone got sick, Link Larkin, Corny Collins, and the male authority figure, which was like the character part, who played all these all these smaller roles in the show. And we were talking about this before we got started. I learned, I think I learned the Link Larkin stuff before I learned my own like regular track. And I quickly learned, because someone called me this, they said that I was a hunger study. Which was a bit of a
Never heard that. That's a good one.
Tanya Harding, like I'll take you out at the knees, or be like a Showgirls situation, right? I never hurt anyone.
But you thought about it.
I definitely thought about it, but I was so lucky that the guy that I was understudying had a bad back, and He missed a lot.
He did?
He missed a lot. And because he missed a lot, and I got to go on so much, Jerry Mitchell and Jack O'Brien just got used to seeing me.
Amazing.
So then eventually they just gave me
That's
the
just
job.
amazing. And that's kind of like...
So I'm glad that Richard Blake had a bad back.
Oh, it was Richard Blake?
It was Richard Blake.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And he's fine
I mean,
now.
not cool. I'm sorry, Rich.
But he went on to do many shows.
Yeah,
and,
he's a successful guy.
Yeah.
I just think that is something I admire that I was not... I was good at for a while, and then I got bad at it. Was just kind of like
understudying?
No, being in flow, where you're able to go, the hunger study of it all, which is like, okay, I'm going to make my Broadway debut in Phantom. Now I went in for the Raoul replacement,
Sure,
and I'm in Hal Prince's office, and I'm doing the whole thing.
My God!
But then I don't get the job, and he casts some guy from Belgium, and you just go. And you see the guy, and you go, all respect to him. I'm better than that guy, and I'm an athlete. I'm like, well, if you're better at somebody in a sport, you win.
Yeah.
But in Broadway, it doesn't matter.
No.
So I was just like young and, a hunger study. That's a great word for it.
Hunger study.
I wish I knew that back then. I probably would have been a less hungry hunger study and less obvious about it. But anyway, so I get called. My agent goes, months later, while I'm killing roaches with a shoe and, waiting for that answering machine to leave me a message. By the way, it did once, and Jay Binder was on. He said, Aaron, I have a job for you. There's a reading of a new musical. He makes $100 a week. You want to do it? I said, yes. So I go in, and it's a musical called Smelly Shoe about a family that runs a shoe business. They put shoes in the microwave, and when they do, they emit an aphrodisiac, and I had to sing a song called Smelly Shoe, and it was written by an orthodontist. And that was one of my first jobs.
When's it coming in?
Yeah, exactly. Let's bring that back.
So it never got a production.
It never got anywhere. No.
Who else was in it?
Yeah, I don't.
Anybody? No.
That was one. No. Although Jay Binder did redeem himself, because the first legit job I got was in the workshop of Dirty Dancing, the musical, which they didn't have the rights to the title, so it was called the Baby and Johnny Project. So the woman who wrote the movie was writing the book, but she didn't own the title.
She couldn't call it Dirty Dancing.
Whatever, Universal Pictures, whoever owned the thing. So they had to call it the Baby and Johnny Project, which, how are you going to market that around the country? But Matt Morrison, me, Shannon Lewis, Jordan Gelber, Christian Borle. I mean, it went on and on.
Yeah. That's the thing. You do those, and sometimes you do those readings that, that did go on to have productions, but I've made some of my best friends on things that were not good.
Yeah.
Like readings that were terrible or out of town jobs. Sometimes I feel like those are, they bond you more, right? The bad ones than if you're like in a big hit. But like the bad shows, those are sometimes the ones that you really like have to just link arms and be like, okay, we're getting through it.
Yep.
Did you ever work at Goodspeed? Opera House? You ever do that?
No. In fact, I had heard so much about it and I wanted to, and then I went and saw a show there when I was working at Theater Works Hartford or something a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, I'd love to work here. It's a great little place.
It's really beautiful, but they do some
not so good stuff.
experimental stuff. I was in a show there called The 60s Project. Just a easy breezy 4-hour musical about everything that happens in the 60s.
Just everything.
Just a jukebox musical.
Yeah.
At one point I think it was literally called The Assassination Medley. It was so tacky. Great
God.
people involved. Great people involved in it.
Always.
But it's not coming in.
It's not. They're not going to bring it. No.
They're not bringing it in.
No.
They're not. But, you do those. It's hard to explain to young actors, I think, who are just starting, who want to just be on Broadway or just be on television. And they get a little discouraged when I explain to them, no, there are years of doing Smelly Shoe, and you're not even getting in the room for Smelly Shoe. You're like at an EPA hoping to get in to audition for that. And you have to do a lot of, there's a lot of gigs that you've got to do to like just stay in the mix and stay active and keeping yourself out there. And it is, I guess if I had been 19 and someone said, you're not going to get a Broadway show for 6 years, I think I would have been discouraged too.
Well, so what did you do, right? Because part of
for like
achieving an
work.
impossible dream.
Yeah.
No, I mean deeper than that. How are you? Because one of the things that I sort of admire a lot about your writing and the stories that you tell in your books is kind of a lot of the spiritual truths of life, the soulfulness of life that I did not really start to get until this shit started going on. You seemed to embody and be integrating while you were figuring it out.
Well, that's awfully generous.
It seems like there are lessons that you talk about learning about not placing the value of yourself based on, because so much of what we do as actors, right? And now both of us do a lot of things. Everything at the highest level. But so much of it started with, you're going to audition after audition after audition, and we should trade worst audition feedback ever. But I remember I walked into a room for Little Shop of Horrors to double cover Seymour and the Dentist.
Sure. Would have been great.
Would have been great. And I am auditioning my ass off, man. I am singing and
you're too hot
acting.
to be a full-time
That's
Seymour.
That's very kind of you.
But it's true.
But
you're even with the glasses.
But you would like a little sexy Seymour with the thing. I mean,
yeah, if you were Seymour,
it's cute. That'd be cute.
Yeah, but yes, it would be great.
Thank you.
It would be great.
So Jerry Zaks, legendary Jerry. I am terrified to audition for the man. You know how there's energy when you walk into a room, and sometimes that energy is not normal.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm a normal dude, and I'm a talented guy, and you're a legend, whether it's Jerry or this person. This happened a number of times. But some directors, I'm not saying Jerry is like this, but it's just reminding me of like when you walk in the room and the energy is so awkward, and you go, oh man, I don't have them.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, and I haven't even done anything yet. And I felt it, like intuitively felt like I didn't realize I was as empathetic or as much of an empath as I was, like sensitive, because I was like, I'm a leading man. I don't have any feelings.
I don't have feelings.
Yeah. But I walked in and Jerry just was like, hey, Aaron. And I'm like, okay. By the way, he sounds just like Jay Binder. And I do my thing, right? So just auditioning, baby. And I'm actually like, I think I turned this around.
What was this one for? This is for Little Shop.
Little Shop Double Car.
Oh, yes. I'm remembering this production now.
So I think I'm like, I think I just turned it around.
Yeah.
I got him.
You got it.
And Jerry goes, Aaron, he leans up to the table. I know that you think what you just did was very good. We do not. Thank you very much.
No.
That was what he said.
That's terrible.
It was terrible. But instead of being like, oh, this is a hilarious story, which kind of is hilarious now.
Well, now.
At the time, I was like,
you must have been devastated.
Oh, yeah, I didn't cry, but I was
Do you
devastated.
remember where you were, though? Were you at his office?
Oh, no. I was at one of those.
One of those studios.
The Pearls or the Chelseas.
Yeah.
Something.
Oh, that's terrible,
Just
Aaron.
a kick to the nuts where you just go like, and then all of a sudden, when you have this impossible dream of not just making it on Broadway where you're a working actor, but where you're at a level where you can support a family and like sustain a career and all, you go, well, if he thinks that, maybe it's true. And then you start doubting yourself. And so I just recognized in some of the stories that you shared and stuff that you seem to have taken from that lessons that are so helpful to the soul and the mind and your own self-worth and self-love to then have your shit together enough to be able to get through a business that will never love you back as much as you love it until it does. Until it does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's but that's a lesson that I don't think I certainly never fully grasp. It's one that I can remind myself. I need to constantly remind myself of that lesson. It's not something that you learn once, I think, and then just like get to walk around with. Like I'm, have to remind myself often to keep my eyes on my own paper and to not try to compare myself to anybody else and to not, get too envious of other people and their work or their jobs or the opportunities and you stick around enough and you realize that, if you're lucky, you get a moment, maybe you get a couple moments and so when other people are having a moment, it doesn't take away from yours.
There's enough to go around.
You just have to write it out and be like, okay, that's going to happen for a little while and he's going to be this is his moment. This is not your moment. But that did take a long time to figure out and to hold on to. Speaking of like Chelsea Studios, my trick there that I finally realized, because I had many of those bad auditions, or like when you get cut after a dance call or a whatever. And I think it was on the 6th floor, and I allowed myself to feel bad for the walk down the stairs.
Oh,
I would walk down the stairs,
yeah.
and I would say, you can feel like shit about this until you get to the street. And you can be sad about it. But once you get onto the street, you have to shake this off.
Good for you.
You've got to shake it off.
That's healthy.
Because it was fucking theater works, and you don't want to be in Super Fudge the musical. So who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes you have those auditions and you're like, why do I want to be in this? Like, why did I want to be in this so badly? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to remind yourself.
I think that's
no offense to Super Fudge.
No offense to Super Fudge.
I'm sure it was great.
I'm sure the fudge wouldn't take offense. You guys, I just want to take a second to say thank you to you, the audience. This show doesn't happen without you. I am, from the bottom of my heart, I am deeply grateful to you because I started The Impossible Dream as a platform to help myself heal and to help other people heal. This podcast is all about that, and without you, that can't happen. We help each other heal. It really does take a village. So if you could just take a second to click and subscribe, like us, rate and review the show. Your comments really do help. Not only do they help us bring you other guests that you want to hear from, but they help us improve the show. They help us grow the show. Your engagement helps us expand what's possible for the reach of Impossible Dreams. So thank you. Truly thank you. Thank you for being a part of the Impossible Dreams team. I think that's a healthy set of boundaries for yours, like a healthy way to process emotion and get through it. And I just think it's good for people to hear. I mean, because it applies, I think it applies to just life, man. You're going to have, it's not going to go your way, right? We have the more sort of the spiritual that I've gotten throughout the last couple of years of trying to understand life's secrets, right? You're like, this was my Chelsea Studios secret. Like, it's a life secret. It's like we have preferences, and there are things we like and things we don't, but they're just stories and they're mindsets and they're practiced energies that become riverbeds that get deeper and deeper and deeper the more you practice them. And so if it's an unhealthy practice, it gets unhealthier. right?
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to turn this stuff, because the things not going the way you want, that's just part of life.
That's just going to be
I didn't
happening.
have a lot of tools for turning adversity into success other than to just work harder
Yeah.
and believe that I deserved it more because I was going to work harder. And that's not, I just didn't have the healthiest way of processing it all. Work out at the gym, try and shake it off.
Yeah.
But
I mean, where did you end up sort of landing with the I deserve this to be better.
Well,
I deserve this to
I got a
happen.
fun story about that. So I used to see an Alexander Technique teacher.
Fancy.
Yes, not though, because it was a 5th floor walk up in the East Village. Alexander Technique, for my sister Dana out there, is a way of. It used to be just for actors, but I think a lot of people use it as a healing modality now. But you use your mind and your thoughts to get into your body and help realign and send blood flow to play. Like I was doing it during Piazza when 8 shows a week, 6 days, 6 days a week, 8 shows a week, as you know that grind. When your body's broken, but you got to crank it out. So I would get my butt down to the East Village, and there was my teacher, Chloe Wing, may she rest in peace, was like kind of like Yoda. Like she was wearing one of those kung fu kind of outfits, and she would sit Indian style on a desk in a studio apartment that she rented just to teach out of.
Wow.
And there was nothing in it but a plant, a picture of a yogi that she was in an ashram with in India who had grown the biggest Buddha belly you'd ever seen. His eyes were like owl eyes. They were huge, and his fingernails had grown a foot long. And he was her guru, I guess, that she had studied with. And the energy was, she was amazed. She was just an incredible human. And I had no idea at the time that she was like my first spiritual teacher.
Wow.
But I remember I went in there, and for the first 5 minutes, she would always just be like, "How you doing, darling?" She was from North Carolina or South Carolina. She had a sweet Southern accent. And I would just vent away about how I was trying to make sense of a career where I was breaking my body for a certain amount of cash, and I didn't know how I was going to do the next thing. And I just thought, maybe I got to get into TV so that I don't need another knee surgery or this thing or that. And I just was like, I deserve more. I deserve it. And she went, "What?" And I was like, "I deserve it." And she's like, "Oh, honey, you don't deserve shit." And she slapped me so straight with kind of this, not that I agree with it, right? We can get into like the layers of what that means, but what it meant at the time was like, you're not lined up. You're coming at this from such an ego level of you're not coming at this from your soul. You're approaching it from a place of need and want because you think you're better than. That's not flow. That's not grace. That's not being in a state of allowance. That's not being in a state of receiving. That's not being in a state of gratitude. But
that's a hard.
It's
a
hard.
hard thing to hear.
Yeah. I just was kind of like a guy who had overachieved up to that point in my life and achieved everything that I'd wanted.
Yeah.
And so I was like, so when you have that dream and you get there and then it's not exactly what you think and then you don't know what to do because you're like, you're not at the top of the game, but you're in the game.
Yeah.
She was kind of my first teacher to kind of say, the more you learn, Aaron, the more you'll realize you don't know anything. It was like these kind of spiritual, what's the word? Contradictions or and I was way too young to understand what she was talking about. But I'll never forget those things because something resonated that on one level I don't agree with her, but on a level I do. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, but do you believe in like fate of things being like fated to happen? Like, people will say like, well, you were destined to be on Broadway. That was exact. My mom will say like, I knew when you were a kid that this is what you were going to do. And And I sort of always, I feel like, well, it could have gone a lot of different ways, I suppose. Like,
could it have for you? To briefly answer your question, fate to me is, I think it's both. I think I used to really be living I lived my life through the lens of like looking for all the signs.
mm-hmm.
Where are the signs? I need to know, and I was terrified because I needed it all to work out, and I was just looking. And so everything was like out of my control.
Yeah.
And then I flipped complete 180 when this went down.
Yeah.
And I started to learn real self-awareness, real knowledge of the self, real accountability, we co-create our lives with the divinity in us and all around us. And so then I am responsible for it all, because not only do I believe in God, I believe I am God. We each are. We all are a piece of God, right? And so then it's like, well, then how can there be any fate? Because you're creating everything.
Yeah.
And now I've kind of realized, well, there are luck, fate, destiny, these moments that happen that you can't explain,
Yeah.
that you can't, things happen in your life where you didn't quote unquote manifest that consciously at all. It just kind of happened. And so I think there's both.
Yeah. I think that's, I don't know. It's like the only way to sort of make sense of things. When I was 22, my dad died very suddenly of a heart attack. And it was not even on my radar at that point that like the idea that like one of my parents would die when I was 22. Like it didn't even occur to me that would be something that could have happened. And I think that one event, that major event, really did, I think, inform and shape the rest of the way that I kind of decided to move through my career and relationships and sometimes a little too drastically, like not so much the life is short idea, but like that you have to manifest things and you have to like, you put yourself on a path and you make it happen. And I think that, if there was, it's not necessarily negative, but I think I white-knuckled an idea of what I wanted my life to look like and what it needed to be. And some of it happened. A lot of it happened. Mm-hmm. And then, as soon as one thing would happen, then some shit would happen. So it was like I couldn't hold everything all at the same time, and I still can't. But that was also a hard lesson to learn of like, oh, you can't, not that like you can't have it all, but that it's nothing is promised in that way. Like you're not, just because I wanted this didn't mean that it was going to happen on my timeline or in the way that I thought it was, or it was going to feel the way that I thought it was. Like, I think that's still something that I struggle with, or at least, have to remind myself to accept.
That's a really beautiful way to put it. And thank you for sharing that, man. I just think that's super, the human experience and for so many people. And yeah, I mean, I said to, my girlfriend this morning, or it was last night or something, I was like, how can I be so happy and yet not be able to reach the sink to turn it on? Do you know what I mean? Like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Right? I can't feed myself lunch, but I am so happy. And it's because all of that white knuckling and all of that, I need it to go exactly this way and whatever. There's now something that I can't, and trust me, I've tried every which way but loose and done all the things and continue to follow the breadcrumbs on this healing journey to what is the path that unlocks the body's ability to recover from this. But because it's not on my timeline, and it's not how or when, you then end up with a choice, right? Yeah. How do you want to spend your time? How do you want to be and that there's so much joy that can be derived from, the simple just surrendering to a moment and not insisting that it be any other way than what it is. Yeah. And then you open up space for the things that are yours to come.
That's a very good way to say it. Yeah. You open up space for that.
Dude, and lots coming your way. You're on the you're hosting the Great American Baking Show.
I am.
Which, by the looks of the ads, should be called the Great American Triceps Show.
Come on now.
Dude, you're jacked.
Come on.
You got some guns.
Well, thanks. Well, thank you. Yes, that really kind of came out of nowhere.
I mean, for so many, I'm living vicariously through you from the actor career standpoint of you get to do the musicals, right? And then you get to do the fun ones with, I assume Gad's got to be one of your dear friends.
He's okay.
And you guys are fucking genius together, and we all want to see. I love when you're like, yeah, we're going to do a love story in 2032. That's the fucking, we all want to see that. So you're doing that. You're doing the TV, you're doing the writing, you're doing the films, you're doing the animation, you're doing the directing, and now you're doing the hosting on the.
I'm gonna try to do a
and
little
the Hollywood
hosting.
Squares and the.
Well, I think it's and it was true when I started my career, and it's now once again true that like I think to keep it interesting for myself and also just to stay present, it's like you've got to diversify as much as possible. And I'm very fortunate that I had and I have representation that in Los Angeles that understands if there's ever an opportunity for me to go back to New York and do a play or a musical, I'm going to want to do it.
Awesome.
I'm going to want to make time for that because it's still the thing that makes me the happiest and makes the most sense to me. And, with their help over the years, like we've figured out a way to sort of make all of that work. And then occasionally
so great.
Something like, the Great American Baking Show comes up and you're like, okay, that sounds fun. It's with my friend Casey Wilson. I was actually a contestant on it last summer. Spoiler, I'm not a great baker. I don't know how this came about that they were like, do you want to bake? And I don't know what kind of audacity I had that I was like, yeah, I would love to bake in a baking competition. But yeah, I went and I really had a great experience. And then about a year later, they called and they were like, would you want to come and do this full time with us? Well, they're very
smart.
So it's very fun. I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And Casey and I worked together on Black Monday, and we actually have written a few things together. And I just think she's the best. So this is going to be it'll be a fun little trip. But in the meantime, yeah, I did this movie a couple years ago with Nick Kroll called I Don't Understand You that comes out on June 6th. Will be in theaters, which was
it's darkly funny?
It's darkly funny.
Yeah.
Darkly funny. In a nutshell, it's about a couple. Nick and I play a couple who are trying to adopt a baby. We are on a vacation in Rome, and we find out that we have matched with a birth mother, and she's going to let us adopt her child, and then we accidentally kill someone. And then we have to accidentally keep killing people to get out of it.
I can't wait to see that.
To get back and adopt our child.
Nice.
I know.
It's a good idea.
I think so. I mean, what would you do for your family? That's the sort of idea.
I get it.
Yeah.
And you guys are boys from Big Mouth?
We are from Big Mouth. Yeah. So Nick is a friend of mine that, now many years ago asked me to be on this show called Big Mouth, and he was like, you're going to play a gay bully. And I was like, sounds like a dream. So I said yes, and then we just finished our 8th and final season. It just aired on Netflix.
Oh, my God.
Fun fact for you, since you worked with her, when I was trying to figure out what does a gay bully sound like, what I settled on was Kim Cattrall in Sex and the City. Oh, so I was like, what is the gay child version of Kim Cattrall? And so that's what I was doing.
Oh, my God. I'll have to tell her that.
And I don't know if she'll take it as a compliment.
I don't know.
Or if she'll be won't. What?
Yeah. Knowing what I know of Kim.
She'll be like, who?
She's not going to.
What?
She's not going to think that's as creatively awesome as I do.
Well, not that she was a bully.
No.
But I just,
the character.
But vocally speaking, I feel like she has a great voice. And why not imitate it? That was my thought.
I think
Kim.
It's a great thought. My first extra work when I was like, I got to go with the headshots and the casting office of Sex and the City. And then
What'd you do?
I was in Charlotte's Wedding or something.
Okay.
And then
I also did a Sex and the City.
You did, but you had a role.
No, I did not.
You did not?
No, I was a headless stripper.
Headless. You didn't even.
It was not a Halloween episode. It was just they didn't shoot.
They just shot you from the.
So I showed up on set to be an extra, and they were like, "You put on this Speedo," and it was with Charlotte. It was with Mario Cantone and with Kristen Davis, and I was on a bar dancing in a Speedo.
Please tell me that you've hung out with Cantone since and told him that
yes.
story. Yes.
And he's I think he was being. It's interesting. It's interesting starting your career as like a background or in the ensemble or even sort of being close. Like I don't know if maybe you've had these experiences where when I started having some success, I got to reintroduce myself to people, or they would introduce themselves to me, and I'd be like, "Oh no, we've met. We've met.
Yeah,
I know you.
Yeah,
I got to I got to tell Patrick Wilson actually at the Tonys last year. I was like, I used to just stand at Vintage, that bar on 9th Avenue. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
I used to stand like 10 feet away from Patrick Wilson and just be like, God, that guy's so cool. What a cool
we all
guy.
did,
I would just like watch him like hang out with people. He was dating Jennifer Love Hewitt at the time.
Oh yeah.
And I would just like sit.
Remember
there,
those
like
days.
stare at him and be like, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy.
That's right.
Right?
But that's the right guy to want to be like, right? Because he did
Patrick
the thing.
Wilson.
He made the career transition.
Yes, and he was so cool, and he still is cool.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. I did a guest on some TV show that he did where he got to play doctor buddies, and he could not have been a nicer guy.
I was just talking about that very show.
What's that show called again?
Ghost Doctor? No. Remember Jennifer Ely played his wife, but she was a ghost.
Yeah, it should have been called Ghost Doctor.
It should have been called Ghost Doctor.
Yeah, it should have.
It was Patrick Wilson as a super hot doctor, and his wife was a ghost.
Yeah. Yes. And
my boyfriend at the time played the anesthesiologist on it,
let's
Mike
talk
Doyle.
about Tuck for a second.
Oh, well, that's a different boyfriend.
We're cut that out.
Sometimes, no, you don't have to cut it out. Life is long, and sometimes there's exes involved.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I do.
Oh, yeah. We all got them. I wonder if there's any crossover. Probably not. We never dated the same people.
That would be true 1 star.
That would, I know. Or
I want in that.
Or I lied
Why do I
about
want in that star rating so badly?
I don't know. I can make it happen for you. If you're...
Wow.
If you're looking to...
Wow.
No. Okay, you're saying no.
Let's bring it back. My lady is saying no.
Let's bring it back to my boyfriend.
My lady. Yeah, Tuck.
Tuck Watkins.
So, because you brought up Black Monday.
Yes.
And I've seen the two of you having fantastic scenes
Yes.
together in Black Monday, and I was like, all right, look, these are handsome motherfuckers. You guys are... No, look, you're definitely the most handsome guy to come on the Impossible Dreams podcast.
Today.
No, ever, really. I mean, I'm doing my best to hold the handsome together.
Come on now.
Thank you for...
I'm never going to win that competition with you.
Won.
But that's
No,
nice of
win.
you to say.
You win.
But Tuck and I
That's a lot of good-looking man.
We met doing
scene.
Boys in the Band.
Oh.
We were doing Boys in the Band on Broadway.
And that is a play.
That is a play that Mark Crowley wrote. It was
A lot of brilliant actors.
It was a great cast. We had a really great cast. It's a play from 1968, and Joe Mantello directed this revival, and Ryan Murphy produced it, and it was so much fun. But we met. I knew who Tuck was because Tuck, was an actor that has worked a lot, and I knew who he was. And before we started rehearsals, we did a photo shoot for the New York Times Magazine. So it was one of those weird situations where we showed up and they were like, and now you're in character. And I was like, I don't even have a character. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've been there.
But it was weird. Like, so we, got dressed and then we had to just sort of like interact with each other in this weird photo shoot, like black box world that I was like, what is this? But it became clear pretty quickly that I was like, oh no.
It's on.
Something's going to happen. But I told him when we actually started rehearsals, I was like, we're going to have a showmance. I don't know how long it's going to last, but this is a limited run. So it's 16 weeks. Let's take it from there.
Let's see how it goes.
So we did that, and then about a year later, we did the movie of Boys in the Band for Netflix that Joe also directed and Ryan produced, and we came to LA and we filmed this movie with the whole same cast, which was really great. And that's when it really was like, it's on.
Beautiful.
for doing it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then strangely that rolled right into that second season of Black Monday, which I had nothing to do with. Tuck had done a show called Beggars and Choosers on Showtime a few years before, and they were casting this character, and they were like, "What do you think about Tuck Watkins?" And I had just worked with him and had just had sex with him, and I was like, "Yeah, he's great on all fronts."
Check all boxes.
Check all the boxes. Get him in here now.
Make it happen.
Yeah. So that was the second time or third time, I guess, that we worked
That's
together,
awesome,
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I am happy that good people, that I get the sense that you really have found, you're a good person and you got the good things going on. Because it's
Thank you.
this. There's a you ever heard of Napoleon Hill? It reminds me of
Is that a rapper?
A Napoleon Hill quote. No.
Oh.
So Napoleon Hill was a guy that Andrew Carnegie hired when he was like 20-nothing years old to study the most famous and successful businessmen of the time. He was like a kid reporter who and he's like, I want you to tell me what all these people have in common. And he ended up figuring out that there are 10 or 13 laws of success or something. That
Was this part of How to Make Friends and Influence People?
Yes, basically, yeah. Like how to get rich and whatever that thing. He's got like a bunch of the laws of success. I forget, just a kind of like self-development, personal growth and success mindset stuff.
Huh.
But
Napoleon Hill.
this was Carnegie, Schwab, Henry Ford, the titans of the time.
F.A.O. Schwartz.
Could have been.
Burger King. The king of burger.
Which, by the way,
continue. Sorry.
Every birthday
I'm
party
sorry.
right now. No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Pizza the Hut. No, I don't know. I'm just keep going.
Told you.
I'm just thinking of really great business people.
Yeah, that are up there with the inventor of the automobile.
Yeah.
The Whopper.
Yeah. Burgers, we gotta eat.
You gotta eat those
Girls gotta eat.
Runzas, baby. Mr. Runza.
Call back.
Called it back. So he says, and I think of Sarah when I talk about this, and so I hope that you and Tucker are this for each other. And if you're not, we'll just cut this out of the podcast.
Great.
But he says that there are laws about how you go about achieving whatever your impossible dream might be. And one is you have a very clear, definite purpose and aim that is your true north. And the next one is that you have at least one other person who believes in that for you as much as you believe in it for yourself. And I certainly know how important having that in my partner has been, with as, intense and, as this dream can feel like it is sometimes. Sure. But I think with anything in life, love is, I've had a friend on the podcast, Kelly Gores, who made the Heal documentary movie, said, we come from love, we are love, and we end up as love.
Wow.
And I just think, sometimes it's kind of that beautiful and simple.
I think you're probably right. But somehow it's not. Somehow it's not always that simple, right?
Yeah.
Of remembering that, and I don't know.
I got a lot of time to remember that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have the let's do all the physical things that take me away from you. So I have a lot of time, which is why it's like, okay, well, how do I share any of what I've learned with anybody in a way that's helpful and maybe a little entertaining?
I mean, you seem like you are incredibly busy, and it is very inspiring and very motivating that you seem like you always have a lot going on. I mean, I'm sure it probably from the inside feels like maybe things stopped for a second, but then from my perspective on the outside, it was like, and then he kept going.
No, you know what? It's interesting you say it's I have been so busy.
Yeah.
Like I didn't stop. I've been busier than I was as an actor for most of the time, where that train just would stop hard for, a year. And you go, what's happening now? I haven't stopped. And I forced myself to stop Well, the physical disability of it was so hard to travel.
Yeah.
I saw you back in October or whatever at the Project
In New
ALS
York,
benefit,
yeah.
and then traveled until March, and it
Good
just
God.
became so hard. My dad was my caregiver at the time and tore his hamstring, and it was
Oh, man.
you're doing the Hannibal Lecter chair on the planes. Like it was a whole
You're
thing.
flying to Moose Knuckle.
You're going to Moose Jaw, to Knuckle,
Sorry.
going to the Moose Knuckle. And
Sorry, I was, yeah.
no, don't apologize for that at
got
all.
it.
You that they should rename Regina to be right next to Moose Knuckle. Because
You know,
they
we
just
were on our way up,
should.
and then I took us
You did?
down.
You can take
That was on me.
Okay.
That
I-
one's on me.
All right. I rode your wings down there. I just took it down.
Sorry.
How do we wrap this
What
up,
a wild
Andrew?
ride. I think you kick me out is what happens.
I
You
think
say,
I
like,
have to kick you out, but
"You fucking pig.
I
You kick him out.
thank you, man.
Oh my God.
I just I love talking to you,
we
and
can't end like that.
we can't. We can talk about love a little more.
We have to end on a. We can't end on Moose Knuckle.
I think it's a perfectly inappropriate way to end
You're
a
not-
very
this is all
spiritually
gonna-
based podcast.
This is all going away.
What does Sadhguru have to say about Moose Knuckle? I want to know.
I
What
think
did
if
Buddha
you.
say about? What did Jesus say about the knuckle?
We'll ask ChatGPT. They'll have an answer. They'll have an answer for us. No, I'm so happy that you asked me to come and talk to you. And I'm happy that I saw you at the Tonys last year.
Yeah.
And that really did. Because, we would see each other in passing. We would, run into each other here and there. And it was always very pleasant. And I always really admired you and your talent and thought you were a real smoke show. But this has been, in the past year, actually, getting to talk to you and hang out and not just objectify you has been great.
Oh, thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Same. Although I'm now objectifying you more
Oh my God, what
than
a
I
sweetheart.
was before. Just
at
because
you.
I can't. I fall in love with you more and more because you sometimes you go, oh, that guy can't be as nice as you want him to be. And then you are, but
I'll give you a list of people to call if you want.
Okay, yeah.
They'll be like, that guy's a dick. He's not.
thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, love.
Love you too.
All right.